If you're over 40, this is what will really happen to your body when you take 5 grams of creatine daily. You probably already know that creatine helps with physical performance and muscle growth. What many don't know is that its benefits go far beyond simple strength and mass gains. When we consume the standard recommended dose of 5 grams daily, our body experiences a series of reactions, both positive and some that deserve attention, especially for those over 40. Today, you'll see the 10 main reactions your body presents when supplementing creatine regularly. And no, we're not trying to sell you anything here, as we're not affiliated with any specific brand. Only the real effects will be presented, based on science. Before we begin, tell me in the comments your name and how long you've been training. Just to be very clear, creatine does not cause hair loss. There is no conclusive scientific evidence establishing a direct link between creatine consumption and hair loss. This myth gained strength due to a single preliminary study that observed a small increase in DHT levels, a hormone related to male baldness after creatine supplementation. However, the study had a limited sample and never effectively demonstrated hair loss in participants. More recent reviews of scientific literature, including comprehensive meta-analyses, have found no causal relationship between creatine and alopecia. Therefore, if you have that friend who says you'll go bald taking creatine, send this video to them so they understand that this concern is not supported by current science. Now yes, let's move on to its true effects. Effect number 1. Improvement in mental health and cognitive function. Something few know about creatine is its impressive ability to enhance brain function. Creatine doesn't just act on muscles, but also in the brain, where it provides quick energy to neural cells through the phosphocreatine system. Research shows that regular supplementation significantly improves working memory and fluid intelligence, especially in people over 40, when we naturally begin to notice small cognitive declines. A particularly interesting benefit is the reduction of mental fatigue during challenging cognitive tasks. Imagine doing complex calculations or trying to solve difficult problems at work. Creatine can help your brain maintain performance for longer, without that feeling of mental exhaustion that tends to increase with age. Additionally, creatine has important neuroprotective effects, protecting neurons against oxidative damage that accumulates over the years. This is especially relevant after 40, when these natural protection mechanisms begin to become less efficient. The most promising aspect is that scientists are actively investigating the use of creatine in treating conditions such as depression, bipolar disorder, and even as part of strategies to slow the progression of Alzheimer's. And while we still need more studies, the preliminary results are quite encouraging. Effect number 2. Possible gastrointestinal discomfort. Although creatine is extremely safe for the vast majority of people, not everything is rosy. Some individuals may experience gastrointestinal discomfort, especially during the first weeks of use. This effect is relatively rare, but it does happen with some people. The most common symptoms include abdominal bloating, gas, mild cramps, and, in less frequent cases, episodes of diarrhea. This discomfort occurs mainly because creatine attracts water to the intestine through a process called osmotic pressure. For those over 40, it's important to be aware of these possible effects, since our digestive system naturally becomes a bit more sensitive with age. The good news is that these symptoms tend to decrease or disappear completely after a few weeks of adaptation, as your body gets used to the supplement. An effective strategy to minimize these discomforts is to consume creatine with meals containing carbohydrates, as this helps with absorption and reduces the amount that remains in the digestive tract. In addition, maintaining good hydration is essential, not only to optimize the benefits of creatine, but also to reduce any potential intestinal discomfort. If you persist with these symptoms for more than a few weeks, it may be wise to temporarily reduce the dose or consult a healthcare professional to assess whether creatine is really suitable for you. Effect number 3. Increase in bone density. A benefit of creatine that rarely receives the attention it deserves is its positive impact on bone health, something especially valuable after 40, when bone density loss begins to become a real concern. Creatine works by strengthening and maintaining bone mineral density, particularly when combined with resistance exercises. This effect occurs through several mechanisms. First, it improves your ability to train with heavier loads, which naturally stimulates positive bone remodeling. The results are impressive. A study conducted with postmenopausal women demonstrated significantly greater increases in bone mineral density when creatine supplementation was added to the resistance training program. This benefit is extremely relevant for anyone concerned about osteoporosis or osteopenia. For older athletes, this also represents a considerable advantage, as it reduces the increased risk of stress fractures that tends to arise with age. Creatine improves the structural integrity of bones, increasing their resistance to microfractures and improving the bone remodeling process. As we age, maintaining a strong bone structure becomes as important as preserving muscle mass, and creatine offers support for both simultaneously, a true dual benefit for those in their 40s or beyond. Effect number 4, improvement in muscle recovery. For those who have crossed the 40-year barrier, recovery after workouts often becomes a greater challenge. This is where creatine really shines as a valuable ally. Creatine works by increasing phosphocreatine levels in muscle cells, which serves as a quick energy reserve during exercise. This mechanism not only improves your performance during training, but also significantly accelerates recovery after physical exertion. When muscles are well supplied with creatine, the cell regeneration process occurs more efficiently. This means less time dealing with delayed onset muscle soreness and quicker return to full capacity for the next workout, an invaluable benefit for those who no longer recover with the same speed as before. Additionally, creatine promotes intramuscular water retention, creating a cell volumizing effect. This anabolic environment favors protein synthesis and tissue recovery, helping to offset the natural tendency for muscle loss that begins around age 40. The practical benefit is that you can maintain a more consistent training frequency, with fewer interruptions caused by insufficient recovery. For many older practitioners, this can be the difference between progressing continuously or stagnating, as consistency becomes increasingly crucial as we age. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will help you progress with long-term health in the world of bodybuilding. Effect number 5. Effects on kidneys. One of the most common concerns when talking about creatine, especially for people over 40, is related to kidney health. Let's clarify some important points about this. Contrary to what many think, creatine is considered safe for kidneys in healthy people. Long-term studies have found no evidence of kidney damage in individuals without previous kidney health problems who use the recommended doses. What generates confusion is that creatine supplementation can temporarily elevate blood creatinine levels, a marker commonly used to assess kidney function. However, this increase does not reflect a deterioration of kidney function, but simply more creatine being processed by the body. For people over 40, especially those with a family history of kidney problems or hypertension, it is always prudent to inform your doctor about creatine use during regular checkups. Medical monitoring allows for identifying any relevant changes in routine exams. As a preventive measure, it is recommended to maintain adequate hydration during supplementation. The general recommendation is to consume approximately 3 liters of water per day, which not only optimizes the benefits of creatine, but also supports overall kidney health. It is important to highlight that people with pre-existing kidney disease or advanced stage kidney dysfunction should consult their nephrologists before starting any supplementation, including creatine. Effect number 6. Potential to reduce blood glucose. A surprising benefit of creatine that gains special relevance after 40 is its potential to improve glucose metabolism, something particularly valuable considering that the risks of insulin resistance increase with age. Creatine works by increasing the expression of glucose transporters in muscle cells, improving your body's ability to uptake and use blood glucose. Scientific studies have demonstrated that it can increase insulin sensitivity by up to 23% in healthy individuals, an impressive number by any standard. In practice, this means your body needs to produce less insulin to process the same amount of glucose. This effect reduces stress on the pancreas and decreases the risk of developing insulin resistance, a condition that often precedes type 2 diabetes. A particularly interesting research showed significant improvements in glycemic control in participants with type 2 diabetes who used creatine as part of an exercise program. After just 12 weeks, these individuals showed considerable reductions in glycated hemoglobin, an important marker of long-term glucose control. For those over 40, this benefit can be especially valuable, functioning as an additional layer of protection against the metabolic changes that naturally occur with aging. And while creatine does not replace diabetes medications or a healthy lifestyle, it can be a valuable complementary tool for blood glucose control. Effect number 7. Improvement in cardiovascular health. Creatine offers significant benefits for heart health, something that becomes increasingly important after 40, when cardiovascular risks naturally begin to increase. First, creatine plays a crucial role in cardiac energy metabolism, serving as a quick reserve of high-energy phosphates for the heart muscle. This effect is particularly relevant during stress situations, when the heart needs to work more intensely. Research shows that creatine protects against ischemic damage caused by reduced blood flow and improves recovery after cardiovascular events such as heart attacks. This cardioprotective potential can be especially beneficial for middle-aged adults with risk factors for heart disease. Another important benefit is its ability to significantly reduce homocysteine levels in the blood. An amino acid, elevated concentrations, represents an independent risk factor for cardiovascular diseases. Studies have demonstrated that regular supplementation can reduce homocysteine levels by approximately 10%. Creatine may also contribute to blood pressure control through improvement in endothelial function, which is the ability of blood vessels to dilate properly. This function frequently deteriorates with age, and any support in this aspect is valuable for overall cardiovascular health. It is important to highlight that, although these effects are modest when compared to specific medications for heart diseases, they are clinically relevant as part of a comprehensive approach to heart health, especially for people in their 40s or older. Effect number 8. Prevents muscle aging. One of the most important benefits of creatine for people over 40 is its impressive ability to combat sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength related to age that naturally begins at this stage of life. From age 40, we begin to lose approximately 1 to 2% of muscle mass annually if we do nothing to prevent it. Creatine functions as a powerful ally in this battle against time. A revolutionary study showed that adults over 60 obtained lean mass gains 3 times greater when they combined resistance training with creatine supplementation compared to the group that did only training. The mechanism behind this benefit involves several factors. First, creatine increases energy production in muscle cells, compensating for the decline in mitochondrial efficiency that occurs with aging. This allows for more intense and efficient workouts even as age advances. Additionally, it stimulates anabolic signaling pathways that become less responsive with age. In practical terms, this means your body maintains a better ability to build and preserve muscle mass, even when natural anabolic hormones begin to decline. The importance of this benefit goes far beyond aesthetics. Maintaining adequate muscle mass means better balance, greater functional capacity in daily life, more efficient metabolism, and lower risk of falls and fractures, all crucial factors for healthy and independent aging. Effect number 9. Promotes resistance to oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is one of the main mechanisms behind cellular aging and becomes an increasing challenge after 40. Here, creatine reveals another of its less-known beneficial facets. Studies have demonstrated that creatine supplementation significantly reduces markers of oxidative damage after high-intensity exercises. This protective effect becomes especially valuable with advancing age, when our natural antioxidant defense mechanisms begin to lose efficiency. Creatine offers selective protection, reducing excessive oxidative damage without compromising positive adaptations to training. This means you get cellular protection without harming exercise gains, an ideal balance that many conventional antioxidants cannot provide. An interesting characteristic of this protection is that it doesn't interfere with the metabolic signals necessary for muscle growth. Some traditional antioxidants may block important signaling pathways for muscle adaptation, but creatine keeps these pathways intact while still offering protection against excessive damage. Creatine's antioxidant capacity also contributes to its neuroprotective benefits mentioned earlier. The brain is particularly susceptible to oxidative stress due to its high oxygen consumption, and this protection becomes progressively more important after 40, when the risk of cognitive decline begins to increase. For those seeking healthy aging strategies, creatine represents a valuable addition to the arsenal, combating oxidative stress without the side effects or negative interactions frequently associated with other antioxidant supplements. Effect number 10. Benefit in vegetarian and vegan diets. If you follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, especially after 40, when muscle preservation becomes more challenging, creatine can be particularly beneficial for you. Studies show that vegetarians have on average 20 to 30% less creatine in their muscles than people who consume meat regularly. This happens because creatine is naturally found only in animal products, mainly red meats and fish. This difference in baseline creatine levels explains why vegetarians and vegans tend to show significantly greater percentage gains in strength, power, and lean mass when supplementing with creatine. Their muscles simply start from a lower creatine saturation state, allowing greater margin for improvements. A particularly interesting aspect for those in their 40s or older is that supplementation for just 5 days demonstrated significant improvements in memory and intelligence tests in vegetarians. The cognitive impacts may be even more pronounced in vegetarians than in omnivores, precisely due to the lower baseline levels. For vegetarians and vegans concerned about age-related muscle loss, creatine can be one of the most important supplements to consider, functioning as a kind of equalization to compensate for the absence of natural food sources. Additionally, creatine can help compensate for some energy and recovery deficiencies that vegetarian diets sometimes present, especially in practitioners of high-intensity physical activities who have already passed 40. Now, a very important warning. There are some very common mistakes that people make when taking creatine, which unfortunately ends up throwing all the potential of this great supplement straight into the trash can. If you want to know what they are, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing each one of them better. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching this far, and may God bless you, my friend.